Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
We are currently tracking Tropical Depression 10, which has now been designated here heading into the Gulf of Mexico. I'll go over the latest track here, which does include North Carolina, coming up.
An armed robbery in broad daylight. What the suspect stole from a man who was walking in this Durham parking lot.
And the clock is ticking on summer with thousands of kids heading back to school on Monday. How parents are prepping their kids for the big day. Well, good evening and thanks for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Julian Grace. Well, we begin with this, a check on the tropics. We are tracking what is now Tropical Depression 10 in the Gulf of Mexico, and it could be the first of the season to impact us right here in North Carolina. Well, 33 counties in Florida have already declared a state of emergency. Meteorologist Anthony Baglione is monitoring the latest track of this system from the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Anthony.
Julian, we saw the National Hurricane Center outline this just after 5 o'clock. So this is the latest advisory from them, and they've designated this here, as you said, Tropical Depression 10. Where this is at currently is right around the Yucatan Peninsula. The low pressure system is just offshore of there. 30-mile-per-hour winds. It is not moving much, and we don't expect it to really move much over the next couple of days. But you notice here, as it gets closer to, let's say, Florida, even up into South Carolina and North Carolina, we are expecting some potential impacts from that. The Hurricane Center has this coming in as a tropical storm right now along, let's say, the Big Bend of Florida right there along the Panhandle even, and then up as a tropical depression into our area Wednesday night into Thursday of next week. Keep in mind this track will likely shift a little bit, and we could see some adjustments in that intensity. Sometimes they start a little bit conservative, and then we can kind of fine-tune that as we get closer. We also have Hurricane Franklin expected to become a Category 3 storm there into Tuesday. Just skirting past Bermuda, we could see some high surf from that, and some high rip currents. Not going to be a major impact storm system for us, thankfully. We also have the heat to talk about. Heat advisory here for our southern counties. This goes until about 8 o'clock this evening. Feels like values up to about 105, and that's why we've actually seen some storms getting going for our far southern counties right now. I'll take you here to Cumberland County, just south of Clinton, Garland. There's a cell that's kind of developing right there, has some lightning with it. So keep that in mind if you're headed out this evening. We could see some storms later on after about midnight or so. We have that level 1 risk west of the triangle, and then tomorrow a better chance, especially into the afternoon and evening. Everyone, Julian, is under that level 1 out of 5 risk. So needless to say, a very busy night here in the weather department. We will walk through all of this here and break down that detailed track of Tropical Depression 10 here in just a few minutes.
So much going on. Thank you, Anthony. Let's go to some breaking news right now in Jacksonville, Florida. The city's mayor confirms there are 4 people, including a gunman, dead inside the Dollar General store there from a shooting. Now, the shooting happened this afternoon. One person said the suspect was wearing a bulletproof vest, gloves, and a mask. Now, this is a rapidly developing situation. Look for updates on NBC Nightly News and on WRAL.com. Still, no one in custody after an armed robbery in a Durham parking lot. Deputies are looking for 2 men they believe are responsible. Now, all of this happened just before noon in the 1700 block of South Miami Boulevard. WRAL's Carly Haynes is live where it happened. And Carly, some very scary moments for earlier today for people that were out there.
Very scary. And Julian, we've seen quite a few people coming in and out of this parking lot. And the Durham Sheriff's Office said that a man was just walking in this parking lot outside of this convenience store when 2 men wearing ski masks approached him with guns. Now, one of those men fired a single shot that skinned the victim's leg. Then the suspects took the victim's jewelry, wallet, and cell phone before taking off in a white F-150 truck with temporary tags. The victim was then taken to the hospital with minor injuries, and the scene is clear at the moment, but deputies are still trying to find those suspects. They're asking anyone who might have any information to give them a call. Julian.
Police looking for that critical tip. Carly Haynes reporting live for us in Durham tonight. Thank you. We are trying to get an update about a person shot by a deputy in Orange County. It happened around 6 p.m. yesterday. Deputies attempted to serve a felony warrant at a home on Carolina Loop near Hillsborough. Investigators say the person left and then waved a gun at another deputy outside. That's when the deputy shot the person who is in the hospital. We don't know the condition. The State Bureau of Investigation is now looking into what happened. Now, that's standard practice when a law enforcement officer is involved in a shooting. West Nile virus has been detected in mosquitoes tested from the Wilmington area. This is what else we found out. Officials with the new Hanover County Health and Human Services say not to be alarmed at this time, but remain vigilant to prevent mosquito bites when possible. That includes using bug repellent that contains DEET and reducing time spent outside, especially around dusk and dawn when mosquitoes are known to be most active. We have an update now about lead detected in several Durham parks. The Durham County Public Health Director says his department will soon offer lead testing for children ages 6 months to 6 years old. Data shows lead levels in 5 parks across Durham measured higher than the EPA threshold. The State Department of Environmental Quality is reviewing the results while the city works to find ways to prevent future exposure. Health Director Rod Jenkins says when more information on the testing is available, it will be posted on the department's website and on social media platforms. We have some sad news in the entertainment world. Longtime host of The Price is Right host, Bob Barker, has died. Barker, as you know, was a beloved fixture on television for more than 30 years. His career spanned 35 years, earning 19 Daytime Emmys and a Lifetime Achievement Award. Barker was adopted into the Television Academy's Hall of Fame in 2004. Barker was 99 years old. The head of Spain's Soccer Federation is suspended after he kissed Women's World Cup winner Jenny Hermosa at the medal ceremony last weekend. FIFA suspended Luis Rubiales from all football activities at the national and international level for 90 days. Now, Rubiales claims the kiss was consensual. Hermanos says it was unwanted. The entire team said they refused to play as long as Rubiales is president. All right, you saw it right there. It is that time again. The clock is ticking for parents in our area. The first day of school for many students is just about 36 hours away. And a new study from the National Retail Federation shows that plenty of folks still have some back-to-school shopping to do. WRAL's Eric Miller spoke with parents out at the stores today.
It's that time of year. The shopping lists are long.
Like pencils, like notebooks, like the essential stuff you need.
And the shelves are getting empty as the back-to-school frenzy is in full swing.
So I have some toilet paper and a Swifter, and then I just have the Swifter pads. That's all I have today.
Parents like Katie Barrett making one last purchase.
Doing a quick back-to-school shopping run for one product that she forgot about in our original shopping run.
New research from the National Retail Federation shows she's not alone. About 1 in 5 families are planning to do their back-to-school shopping in the final week before classes begin, with 1 in 10 planning to shop even later.
I do a little bit as I go, whatever I can find, and then if I need to get something at the very end, pick up the last bit of things.
Mom Erica Post says she's spreading out her shopping to try to spot the best deals.
See what's the best, cheapest place to get supplies.
That's a strategy that's backed up by the NRF's data. The foundation saying higher prices parents are expected to pay this year are helping drive the search for deals. And another motivator for these parents, making sure everyone has their favorites for the first day of class.
It's basically binders and notebooks and lots of other stuff.
What about you?
Probably the same thing.
Same thing.
Hers. Yeah.
They're not the only ones I'm behind as well. Well, when you wake up Monday morning, turn on WRAL. We're your back-to-school headquarters. Elizabeth Gardner and Brian Schrader will have the latest weather updates and traffic conditions before you leave the house. And we'll be live on the air and on the ground. And we'll be tracking school buses to watch out for. Any issues on the first day of school, we got you covered. It all starts at 4:30 a.m. right here on WRAL's Morning News. It is a huge day at several local animal shelters, as WRAL's Chris Lovingood can attest to. Right, Chris?
Oh, yes, Julian. That's why in a couple of minutes, we're going to take our viewers here through the Wake County Animal Center and introduce you to some of the friends we met today, including little Rosie here, who still needs a home.
Also, meteorologist Anthony Baglione keeps tracking the tropics and the system that could bring rainfall to North Carolina. Plus, new baby birds at the North Carolina Zoo. Find out what's so unusual about these chicks. Thanks for coming back. I'm excited about this next story. The Wake County Animal Center is hoping more people keep adopting their dogs. The Clear the Shelters campaign mostly went well for them, but they still need more help. Let's bring in WRAL's Chris Lovingood. He joins us at the shelter. And Chris, great animals are still out there, but they need a hand.
Julian, the exciting thing is we're talking 57 cats and 30 dogs were adopted here at the Wake County Animal Center. But here's the deal. Even though those numbers are pretty good, dogs like Rosie still need someone to take them home. She's 3 years old. She is potty trained and she wants to go home with somebody soon.
This face, that face. Each needs a home.
Why are you here today?
To adopt a dog.
Why do you want to adopt a dog?
Because he looks cute.
You know, you already have one dog at home, but you're considering Rolls Royce. What do you think having that new dog in your household is going to do?
Probably make it better for our other dog from companion.
And it's not just dogs finding homes.
I actually think that all of our cats have been adopted.
They were, by the way. But still plenty of dogs are waiting for you to come get them during the Clear the Shelters event. Megan Thomas with the Wake County Animal Center says 40% of the dogs they've received were surrendered by their owners, but not by choice.
These are people who don't want to give up their pets. They're crying in our lobby. They have these heartbreaking stories.
Stories like rising rent prices, a landlord not allowing pets, even moving. Kayla Sky McNeil knows that pain well.
I've had dogs when I was younger, and then we moved and we couldn't keep the dog, and I've wanted another one ever since.
Well, good news for her because Svensson is going home with the McNeil family, as other dogs find a forever home too.
I spent the first 6 years of my life in the foster care system, so I know the foster care eyes, and when he looked at me, it was like I knew that pain, the look in his eyes.
All right, let's say you're sitting at home and you're going, all right, I got to go adopt a dog. Just go to pets.wake.gov to look through one of them if you can to see if you like them. Rosie's got a profile on there too, so you can look at her profile, another one. And if you want to stop by tomorrow, doors open at 12 o'clock and they are going to be waiving adoption fees for any dog that has been here for longer than 15 days. So do your part. Let's clear the shelters.
Rosie looked so good on Chris as well. All right, thanks. Chris Lovingood reporting live for us in Raleigh tonight. Thank you. Over in Orange County, Paws Forever has had a very busy month during Clear the Shelters. Just look at some of these adorable animals who are ready and willing to find their next new home and best friend. Paws Forever is one of the 7 shelters participating in today's Big Day, an event by waiving all adoption fees both today and tomorrow. Now, earlier today, we spoke with someone at the shelter, about what makes this shelter so different.
One thing that makes us a little bit unique that we also offer our dog adopters is we offer them a free training class from our on-site training facility. So if anybody is a little bit concerned about, if the dogs are trained and, resources afterwards, we're there for you for whatever you need, whether it's training, care questions, or support, pet food, any of that kind of thing. We've got you covered.
I have never heard of that. What a great assist. Now, all animals at Paws Forever are fully vaccinated, microchipped, and for cats, they have had additional testing, we're told, to see if they've tested negative for leukemia. All right, good stuff. Check out this new surprise at the North Carolina Zoo in Asheboro. The zoo announced on Instagram that 4 horned puffin chicks hatched. It's been several years since the zoo has had little pufflings, and there they are right there. Both parents take turns incubating and brooding. Both parents also gather food and feed the puffins. Unlike most birds, baby birds, these chicks eat solid food, fish in this case, as soon as they've hatched. They're like, give me that fish, I want it right now. It takes 44 to 55 days for a puffin to fledge or leave the nest to survive on its own. They are pretty quick. They get out there in nature and say, let's go, let's get going. All right, Anthony, let's go to the radar. You are tracking some showers right now, I see.
Yeah, we have a couple showers and storms, Julie, mainly for our southern counties. So I want to start with this, and then we're going to get all into that tropical activity that we're expecting here and kind of go into detail with that. So let's start here with radar. Good Saturday evening to all of you. Hopefully had a great start to the weekend. There's what we're seeing right now. The majority of our viewing area is looking pretty calm, but we do have this one lone cell here for our far southern areas right around Newton's Crossing crossroads just to the south of that, even back toward US 421, and kind of that cell getting going right there with some lightning, some heavier rainfall. Again, just south of Clinton, east of Kerr. That's kind of where we're expecting that right now, pushing up to the north and east. We have some big time heat that is definitely sparking some of these. It feels like 100 currently in Durham and Raleigh. 104 is what it feels like in Clinton, 106 in Goldsboro. So that rainfall could help to cool us off just a little bit. If you're outside at all here the next couple of hours, we do have a heat advisory in place for our southern counties, but really everyone just plan for that heat and make sure to not kind of overexert yourself. We could still see those values around 105, and that goes until 8 o'clock this evening. We also have a level 1 severe storm risk west of the Triangle this evening. This is mainly just for some isolated pockets that could get going, let's say after about 8 o'clock or so. We shift into tomorrow. It looks like it gets a little bit more unsettled. We have that level 1 for everyone tomorrow, mainly into the late afternoon and really continuing through later on Sunday night into Monday morning. So let's walk through that here on Futurecast. We head through tonight looking pretty good. Again, just an isolated shower. Again, mainly after midnight, we could see some of those popping up there. Tomorrow morning looking relatively calm. There could be a quick, I'll call it spritzer out the door for any of those early Sunday morning church services, things like that. Lunchtime, though, still looking pretty calm. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds. We go into the afternoon. That's when it starts to get a little bit more active here, and even later on, 8, 9, 10 o'clock or so, you see some of that coverage filling in. So we need the rainfall, and I do think it could be a little bit more unsettled by the time we get into this time tomorrow evening. We're at 87 tomorrow, a little bit cooler here, relatively speaking, about a 60% chance there into the afternoon. Back to school on Monday, we're at 84, so the heat is not going to be a big factor for us, but notice those rain chances starting off at about a 30% chance. Looks like that pickup here into the afternoon is going to be a better time. So I'd have the kids with the umbrella, the ponchos, things like that here just to be on the safe side. Let's shift here to the tropics, where, of course, it's very busy. We have Tropical Depression 10. This came out just around the 5 o'clock advisory from the Hurricane Center. We should get another one around 8 o'clock this evening. 30-mile-per-hour winds. It is not moving much right now, and it's going to be fairly stationary the next couple of days. This is the latest track, though. We put on where this is expected to head, likely to become a Category 1 hurricane there into Tuesday afternoon, approaching their places like Destin, Panama City, and then getting up into our direction as a tropical depression. What I will say is, though, we are likely to see some minor shifts in that track, and we could see some adjustments in the intensity. There are some indications that we could see a very strong hurricane potentially into the Florida Panhandle. There's a ton of warm water down there, so we're going to be watching that very closely here. We also have Hurricane Franklin. This is going to stay out to sea, skirting right along Bermuda. We could see some very high seas here into next week. So a very busy forecast. We will, of course, continue to track all of that closely through this weekend. We're at 87 today, 84 there into Monday for back to school, 85 on Tuesday. Then join as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. That would be the time frame here that we're looking at some of that tropical moisture. We will keep a very close eye on it.
All right, thanks, Anthony. Casey, a familiar face was leading Notre Dame today.
Yeah, former Wake Forest quarterback. He has arrived leading the way as college football season officially opens. Plus, Bryce Young wrapped the preseason with his best outing yet.
And with that, the high fives in order. Aaron Matson comes away with her first victory as a head coach.
The Aaron Matza era at North Carolina is off to a perfect start. The superstar field hockey player turned rookie coach picked up her first win on the sidelines last night as the #1 ranked Tar Heels took down #4 Michigan 3-2. Boy, it's so impressive to remember. She's just 23 years old. Speaking of impressive, 22-year-old Bryce Young has continued to improve throughout this preseason. Carolina Panthers wrapped that up last night, albeit, of course, with a loss to Detroit. But Young showing the Panthers offense will be in good hands. Now, it was his best outing yet. Young completed 7 of 12 passes for 73 yards and a touchdown. He also showed his escapability, scrambling 3 times for 21 yards. Another element to his game that Frank Reich was pleased to see.
I think he was sharp and productive and made plays, and showed some play, even more playmaking ability with his feet, the throw for the touchdown. He has that in him. He has that instinct, right? He has that make you miss. Like even when a guy has him dead to rights, you come out, a guy has him dead. He has that little stop, start, hesitation move. That's hard to figure out. So that was good by him.
Nothing says college football's back like fans ripping Jameson shots in Ireland. Navy and Notre Dame across the pond to open the season. And former Wake Forest quarterback Sam Hartman looking good in an Irish uni. Nearly perfect debut, 19 of 23, 251 yards, 4 touchdown passes. More on social media, it appears the rest of the country finally finding out about the all-time ACC passing TDs leader. Notre Dame wins big, 42-3. Now, NC State might have had one eye on this game. Of course, the Pack will open with the Irish in week 2 in its home opener at Carter Finley Stadium. But, they're not actually looking that far ahead just yet because they know they can't overlook their season opener at UConn. The Pack dismantled the Huskies last season 41-10, but Dave Doran said by season's end, UConn was one of the most improved teams in the country. Doran given a lot of respect to head coach Jim Mora, who now brings back an experienced team that also has something in common with the Pack.
They're definitely a team that wants to run the football. Their offensive line returns 3 of their starters, really 4 if you look at the rotation they had at times. And they've got a quarterback similar to us that transferred in with their offensive coordinator now. So their offensive coordinator came from Maine, and now they have a QB that just came from Maine that played under him. So he'll have the ability to help their offense grow, probably faster than somebody who wasn't in it prior.
That's a Thursday night game this Thursday, Julian. Looking forward to it.
All right, thanks, Casey. Stay tuned now for NBC Nightly News. Have a great Saturday.